What beliefs would you like to let go of? Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Finding Freedom podcast, where we talk about how to feel more calm, connected, heart centered, grateful, abundant, and empowered so you can find true freedom and create the life you are meant to be living. Today on the podcast, I'm talking all about beliefs. I presented this idea in a video to my email subscribers last year, and I was going to recreate it and re-record it. And then I realized that what I had was perfect. So I'm just going to share with you the whole thing because it's still as powerful today as it was last year. I'd also say that it's still, if not even more relevant than it was last year. Why is this? Because we've just stepped into a new year. Today, we're also in new moon energies. So if you listen to this today or in the next couple of days, this new moon, these new beginning energies will still be present. But I personally think that this energy still applies for a while longer, post the new moon, that is, because we have another new year approaching. So whether you follow it or not, the Chinese New Year, which is celebrated all around the world, has this new beginning energy too. And when lots of people in our collective are celebrating the new and change, I think this filters into the vibe worldwide, into the collective consciousness, so to speak. So big change can be yours. And in order to have big change, you've usually got to do something a little different. And this is where changing your beliefs becomes super relevant. So this is what I talk about today on this pre-recorded magic from last year. I also touch on the ego a little at the beginning, and I make a reference to Queenie. And I just wanted to explain that a little for those of you who haven't been following me or reading my previous emails. So in 2022, I worked with a coach on how to open, how to listen to, and how to follow my heart more, generally just becoming more heart-centered. I was learning mindfulness to ultimately try to listen to my heart. And often what I could hear was this voice speaking to me. And my coach was telling me how this voice was significant. And this voice was telling me things that I really didn't believe, these messages that I was like, where are they coming from? So through this process, my coach invited me to give this voice a name. And I chose to call her Queenie because she really was and still does try to rule my mind. And damn, she's bossy. Now, in movies, you'll see the image of an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. So I think this is a little bit dramatic, but I think that these figures refer or represent this same thing that I'm talking about right now, this voice or this person, if you want to call it a person, this Queenie in our mind, trying to keep us safe and ultimately keep us small. Because think about it, if we hide, if we go undetected, then we're safe, right? That's at least what our reptilian brain thinks, which is not the case anymore because we live in a very different situation in a very different world. So Queenie, the ego, the angel, the devil on the shoulders, the voice in your mind, whatever you want to call it or her, they're all really the same thing. I will invite you yourself to, if you want, give your ego mind a name too, because when you do this, you can talk to him or her like they are a person, and it can become a little easier to acknowledge the things that you're hearing and also manage those thoughts, and most importantly, detach from them to know that they're not actually yours, because you're not Queenie. She's just someone in your mind. She's trying to protect you in the way that she knows how. But as I said before, my friend, for a long time, Queenie or your version of Queenie, whatever you want to call her, she's not been serving you because you're not running from a lion and need her to tell you to run and hide, that you're not safe. You're in this world where you are largely safe and you are largely provided for. Or I would argue you are safe and you are provided for. So I think the best advice I could give you about Queenie is to know how to discern when her information is useful and when it's not. Because there will be times when we need her to tell us to run and we have to physically run. But most of the time, her information or her advice will be absolutely BS. It will absolutely not be serving your growth and expansion. And that's what this episode is about. This is what the Finding Freedom podcast is all about, growth and expansion. Because it's in that growth and expansion that we find who we are, which is how we find freedom. And I'm on this journey alongside you. We're all here for the expansion. I just decided that I wanted to be vocal about it on a podcast. Okay, so ego, awareness, beliefs, energy, and consciousness. That's what this episode is largely going to be about. I love talking about this stuff, so I hope you love it too. But before I play the recording, I also wanted to make a quick reminder to you that I hold monthly breathwork online. We've just done one on the weekend. So the next month, February, will be the next one coming up, and you're always invited to attend. Anyone, no matter where you are. It's based on energy philanthropy. That's where you give from the heart to attend the class rather than having a set fee to attend. This means that if you don't have the funds one month, then you can still attend. And you just give from the heart in a way that you feel that you can. So maybe that's by sharing my content, my name, my offerings with some other people, or maybe on social media. And you'll also get the audio recording. So if you want to do the class again, you can do that. I also work one-on-one with people. My latest iteration of this is titled, Who Do You Want to Be? Valid for myself, valid for you, valid for us all. I think it's such an important question to ask ourselves and to work towards. The more that we do, the more we really can flow in this life. And I think flowing and just going in the direction that we feel called to go and feel most aligned to go is just so important. So if you work one-on-one with me, we'll be working together once a week, opening this and having this conversation around who you want to be and what you want that to look like. In addition, every week we'll be doing transformational breath work, and it is really transformational. So we'll be having these discussions about your life and your mind and work towards ways to shift the way you think and the things you believe, like I talk about on today's podcast, so you can step into that highest version of yourself. And I'm super excited for the very special people who are going to come and work with me in 2024. I know that the journey will be a blessing for both you and me, and we'll learn and grow so much together. To work with me for the 8-week period is an exchange of 1,999 Australian dollars, but a payment plan that will only cost you $1 more is also available. Finally, I also created a beautiful online course. It's so beautiful. It involves 4 breathwork recordings designed around the Ho'oponopono, which is a beautiful Hawaiian prayer. There are also introductory videos explaining each practice, so it's clear to you my intention for this breathwork practice, for each week's breathwork practice, and also the intention behind the prayer. The prayer is 4 phrases. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So the first practice is built around repentance. The second, forgiveness. The third, gratitude. And the fourth, love. So I hope you can feel how incredibly powerful that will be to move through all those different stages. I also built the playlists with especially curated audio. So I really generated that and found those audio tracks from my heart. The exchange for this highly transformational course is only $144. It's online, it's on demand. You can buy it and use it whenever you want. You'll get access to the course, so you can go through it at your own pace. But I do recommend that once you start it, you go through week by week, every week, because it is meant to follow on from one to the next to the next. But it's so beautiful and so powerful. So please do go check it out. Okay, my friend, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you get a lot out of today's episode. I know when I listened to it again, it really gave me a lot to think about myself. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can share, obviously, in the comments, wherever you are listening to this today. Thank you so much for your support, so much for your love, and I love you right back. Take care. Today, I'm talking all about beliefs. And if you stay until the end of the video, I will give you 10 common beliefs that I think are worth changing and the new beliefs that you might like to try on for size. So last week, I talked all about the ego and how for years now we've allowed the ego, your queenie. If you read my last email, you'll understand that reference. We've allowed her to really rule the show to the point where we're so conditioned that we don't see things any other way but hers. It's her way or the highway, right? But funnily enough, we think it's our way. We think that we're running the show. So then once we get to that point where we start awakening to the fact that we're not running the show, and you make the decision that you'd like to, and you actually realize that you do have control, that you're able to do and say and be how you want, always leading by the heart, of course, with loving intentions. Remember that we're all about raising our energy to a higher frequency rather than going to a lower frequency. So once you realize this, that you have this control and this power over yourself, then you can start to work on changing your beliefs. So that's what we're going to talk about. So we'll talk about beliefs, and then we'll also talk about how you can change them. So let's start firstly with the beliefs you are aware that you hold. Remember that awareness is always step one, and sometimes we don't possess that awareness. When we're talking to people, everything that comes out of our mouths in conversation is based on a belief that we hold. And people talk freely, they say how they're feeling about something, and they don't actually realize that what they're speaking to is the belief that they hold. So everything we say is based around a belief, right? I believe that it is important that you learn what your beliefs are and how you can change them if they're not serving you. And that will lead to you living a more empowered life. That's a belief I hold, and that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing. So let's say you're talking to a friend and you're telling the friend how you have a day off, and they ask you what you're doing on this day off, and you're like, well, I'm going to the doctors. I've got my annual health checkup. And then after that, I'm going to go to the beach. And I love going to the beach, but I hate wearing sunscreen, but we've got to wear it because otherwise I'll get sunburnt. Everything we say and do is because of beliefs. So in this case, the person believes that it's important to go for a yearly or an annual health checkup. And what are those underlying beliefs? They are different for everyone. This person might hold the belief that the doctor is the expert, so it's important to get that information from him or her, that their health is important to them, that doing a yearly check is important, that it's better to know if something's going on health-wise, or even if you don't have any symptoms, it's more important to know than to not know. And of course, possibly some other things. The person also believes that sunscreen is necessary and protective for their skin. They may also believe other things like having a tan is undesirable, or staying in the sun for a long time ages the skin and the sunscreen will prevent this.
So you can see that there are so many beliefs behind the things that we do. And while you might sit here and say, but Bianca, it's proven, they've proven scientifically that sunscreen protects our skin from being burnt and aging. I guess my response to you will be, well, that's a belief. And beliefs are not right or wrong. Beliefs are what's true for you. So whatever belief you hold is what is true for you at this particular time in your life. If you think the sun is bad for you, then that's a belief that is true for you right now. If you believe that the sun is good for you, then that's the belief you're holding in that frequency of your body right now. So I'm not judging at all the beliefs that people hold. It's just what's true for you right now. What's important is this belief serving you? Is this belief keeping you in a state of fear? Or is this belief helping you to live an empowered life? So this is where the most important part comes in, is that you're allowed to change your beliefs whenever you choose. And this can become very confronting to some people. Some people like things to stay the same forever. They don't like people to change, and they don't like to change themselves. I'm sure you know a person like this. And so when that happens, when someone suddenly changes the way that they think and feel, and the way that they're speaking is different, and the way that they're doing things is different, the people in their lives can get quite confronted by this and not really feel like they know this person anymore. And this happened in the time of COVID. It really presented all of these conflicting ideas that people had that challenged one another's beliefs, and people were deciding who's right and who's wrong. People are still living in this space as well, which is, there's nothing wrong with that either. So, you know, whether it was vaccines or mandates or masks or social distancing or all of the virus stuff, there were so many different beliefs, and there still are so many different beliefs that are causing a lot of division between people. And it's because they're not resonating on the same frequency anymore. One person's here, and it doesn't work. They have to be on the same level to have the same agreements, right? But this is okay too. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. And this is the beauty, but also the challenge of waking up, of becoming more aware. It can be a little scary to become so aware of what you think and what you feel, because then you're confronted with this idea of, I believe these things about myself. Do I want to keep believing them, or do I want to change that belief? And you do start to question who you are, why you're here, and what you want in this lifetime. And so going back to the example I gave you before, that person who believes that going to the doctor is necessary, once they awaken to a different way of thinking, to an awareness that they're living in a state of fear by going to the doctors as a preventative, they may decide now to change these beliefs and these thoughts. So maybe this person decides that she no longer needs a doctor, that she can determine whether she's healthy or not by how she feels. She might decide that she no longer believes in using pharmaceutical medication because maybe she tried it and it made her feel really terrible and she doesn't want to do that anymore. Maybe she feels like a more natural approach is the way. And in terms of the sunscreen, maybe she now believes that the sunscreen is no longer good for her skin because she read the ingredients list and she decided that it contained too many unknown ingredients in there that were chemicals. And instead, she'll just wear a hat and a t-shirt and stay in the sun for shorter periods of time. Or maybe she'll use a natural zinc-based product instead. And so now these beliefs become true for her. And these new beliefs are also not right or wrong. But what's the difference between the old beliefs and the new beliefs? The old beliefs held her in a state of fear, and the new beliefs empower her to make choices and decisions with the information that she has. And again, this might not be resonating for you. You might not agree with me, and that's okay too. That's your truth for right now. And so when we're in this higher state, this higher energetic frequency, which is also something that has been well studied. In fact, if you look up, or I'll link it in this email, Dr. David Hawkins' diagram on the levels of consciousness. I'll put it here so you can have a quick look at it, but also check it out in the email. But basically, this is all about our energetic levels. And so those old beliefs were holding that person in a lower frequency. And when that person starts to not fear their health and they start to take back control of their body, their level rises. They feel very differently. So they're going to change, and their beliefs have to change with them. So this is the ego, right? The ego is all about survival and protection. And that usually means that you end up living in a state of fear, because everything you do is about the fear of your survival. How are you going to survive? You have to do this way, otherwise you'll die. Not everything is about death, but a lot of it does come back to death. So people make decisions based on this level of vibration. So waking up and changing your thoughts and beliefs gives you the ability to live from a place of independence and responsibility for yourself and your life. So that's that higher vibration, no longer in fear. And the more you work on your beliefs and start to change them to live a life that is much more aligned with what feels true for you, then you start to live from the heart. You start to lead with love and compassion for yourself and for others, and you accept yourself more, you accept others more, even if they don't resonate with you, even if they don't hold the same beliefs as you. There's just so much more joy, gratitude, love, and peace. And those frequencies are the higher ones on the consciousness scale. So a month or so back at my last house sit was when I first started shifting gear into gratitude. I was really working on how much gratitude I can feel. On this particular day, I was feeling so in love with my life. I was driving my car. I was feeling free and happy and loving. All that was my experience in that moment. I was singing loudly. I was loving the sound of my own voice. And I was on a road that I was familiar with, and there were multiple sets of traffic lights. And I'd never not been stopped by these lights, at least one of the three. But on this day, my energy was feeling so high. I was just way up there in that space of love and gratitude for my life and for the world. And I remember thinking how I wanted the light to go green as I was approaching it so that I could continue this beautiful flow. I was traveling at like 80 kilometers an hour and I just didn't want to slow down. I was singing, I was going fast. It was really fun. And the light changed and I was like, amazing. And so I kept going through. And then I saw that the second light was also red. And as I approached it, I said out loud something like, change green. And it did. And then the same thing happened on the next set of lights. It was red. And then I asked it to change and it changed. It was really, really cool. And I believed in my gut that they would change. Like I didn't even slow down. I was in this state of full flow, full love and gratitude that I just knew that they were going to change. And essentially what happens is the universe provides us with what we ask for when we're in those highest levels of vibration. We don't get that when we're in a state of fear or a state of guilt or a state of shame. So your energy matters on so many levels as to how you experience your life and the world that you create around you. This is all to do with like law of attraction and manifestation. And it all comes back to the beliefs. So have you ever sat down to consider what you believe about certain things without judgment, just to become aware? And this is where journaling is really powerful, or just get a book out and write in a notepad. You can do this along with this video, or you can do it later, but I want you to think about your job and I want you to write down what you believe about your job. Write a list. Do you believe that you'll always do this job? Do you love your job? Do you believe you'll ever get a promotion? Do you ever believe that you'll quit and find a new job eventually? Do you believe that your job is valuable? Or do you sigh at the thought of going to work because you believe it's exhausting? Do you believe you're worthy of a higher paying job or maybe running your own business? Speaking of money, what do you believe about money? This is a big trigger one. I know it has been for me, and I've been working through lots of money stuff recently. Do you believe that money comes easily? Do you believe that you'll always be provided for? You'll always have enough money? Do you believe that you have to work hard for many years? Maybe someone taught you that money doesn't grow on trees. Do you think you'll have to work all the way up to retirement before you can actually have enough? And then maybe you believe that even when you get to retirement, it's going to be too hard to survive. What about relationships? What do you believe about them? Write all of those things down. And then there are all your beliefs about love and health and aging and freedom and, well, any topic you can think of, you have a belief around. So what's important here is to find the beliefs that are not serving you. They're the ones that you want to then go and change. So let's take a look at 10 common beliefs now. Now, just be warned, you may not resonate with these beliefs, and that is perfectly okay. But just stick with me, listen, and just consider, like, what if I could believe this? How would my life be different if this was my belief? How would I walk, talk, act if I believed this? All right. Belief number 1, I never have enough time. I bet you have thought that every single day. I want more time in the morning. I want more time at lunch. I want more time in the evening. I want more time with my kids. There's never enough time for anything. Time goes too quickly. So if that's how you feel, the new belief that I'm going to give you, and of course, take it or leave it, you can also change it to work with what resonates for you. The new belief for I never have enough time is I live in no time and I accomplish everything. That's a challenging one. I live in no time and I accomplish everything. Belief number 2, nothing good ever happens to me. How many times have you said that in your life? This is real victim mode, feeling poor me, woe is me, nothing ever works out for me. And it's totally okay if you've had this thought, if you've felt this way. I think every single person on this planet has had this thought and felt this way. So no judgments. But what could be a new belief? How about the belief that I am blessed by the universe or God or the divine or the creator, whatever you'd like to say? Can you believe that you are blessed rather than believing that nothing good ever happens to you? Who would you be if you could believe every day that you're blessed? Totally different space, right? Belief number 3, I have to work hard to be a success. I have to work hard to be a success. I definitely got this one in my upbringing. So the new belief here is I am abundant. Success comes effortlessly to me. This is what your new belief is. I am abundant. Success comes effortlessly to me. Who would you be if you believed that? How would you walk, talk, act if you believed that success just flowed to you? Belief number 4, someone or something will make me happy. So the new belief here is I am the source of my happiness. Again, sit in that space of how would you be? Who would you be? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you hold yourself if you believed that you were the source of your own happiness? What responsibilities would you take? What would your relationships be like? Very different. Belief number 5, my race, culture, or gender is superior. How many times have you judged a person of another race? So it doesn't matter the race or the culture. How many times have you found yourself having a thought where, I don't like that person because of this thing, and that's connected to their race or their culture? I am betting that there aren't many people in the world who haven't had that thought, that I'm better than this person because I'm white, or I'm from this country, or I have this status or this level of money. And what about gender? Ladies, how many times have you thought, I'm better than that man? This whole feminist movement that we've had, it's important, but here's the new belief. We are all one and the same. Man, woman, black, white, brown, yellow, whatever. We are all one and the same. how the world would be different. Belief number 6, when I own insert thing that you want, I will be happy. This is a big one for me. I'm often thinking like, oh, if I just get that thing, then things will be better, right? Wrong. So the new belief is when I'm happy, I'll have insert the thing that you want. Because that's how the law of attraction works, right? You got to be it and feel it, then you get it. It's not you get it, then you feel it and you be it. When I'm happy, I'll own whatever I want to own. I'll have whatever I want to have. Belief number 7, germs make me sick. Oh, did I just explode your brain? Germs make me sick. Maybe that's true for you, and that's okay. My personal belief, which I'm going to present to you as a possible new belief, is I make me sick. And how would life change if that were true? Doesn't matter about all the science out there. Science could be true, could also not be true. But what you believe is what's important. And how empowering would it be if there was no such thing as a germ? Going to plant that seed. Belief number 8, I'm a lot like my parents, father, mother. We've grown up hearing these things. Oh, you look so much like your father. Oh, you're so much like your aunt. Ah, you're so much like this person. It's not true. You are you. So the new belief is I choose who I am and how I be. Belief number 9 is I gain weight easily. I think a lot of people believe that whatever you put in your mouth, you put something in your mouth and then all of a sudden extra weight, right? Your new belief is, should you choose to accept it, my body maintains a healthy weight always. Imagine believing that. Imagine believing that it's not about the food, it's not about the exercise, it's not about any of those things. Your body knows how to maintain a healthy weight. How would things be different? How would you treat yourself? How would you eat or not eat? Exercise or not exercise? Last belief, I need 8 hours of sleep. But don't all those articles out there say we need 8 hours of sleep? The new belief is my body has plenty of energy no matter how long I sleep. So you can work with these beliefs, but I encourage you to actually make your own list. If something has really grabbed you from that list, because they are so common, please use them. But if you didn't resonate with them, I want you to make a list of your own and find the ones that are really holding you back from extending yourself further in life. And try to go to that vision of, who would I be if I believed this? How would you walk, talk, feel, act, be, dress, hold your body if you were that belief? Now, I know these beliefs are not always a breeze to change. We've got so much trauma. We've got so much ancestral baggage. There's past life stuff. There's just so much there. But I will be completely honest with you about that too, is that that's also a belief. You can choose to believe that it's super easy to change your beliefs if you want them to be easy. But most importantly, you have to be willing and ready to let go of the old belief and take on the new one. Maybe you don't take it on completely at first. Maybe you just start to test it and just say it. Or maybe you change the wording, like you say, I'm open to believing this, and you slowly work your way towards believing it, but you can't hold both beliefs at the same time. So I let go of the belief that I need 8 hours of sleep a night. Now, do I like 8 hours? Yes, I do. But I also like 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 hours. I think I could happily sleep from 10 p.m. until 9 a.m. every day. But without this sleep, without this many hours of sleep, can I still be energetic? Can I still function at full capacity? If one night I get 6 or 7 hours, I absolutely choose to believe this, that I always find the energy during my days. Now, sure, there are days when we're a little slower. I don't put that down to a lack of sleep. I believe that I sleep well because I do. It's my belief. And I believe that I'll sleep well every night, no matter how many hours I get, and that I'll function well during the day. All right, so after you've made your list, I'd like you to just choose one. Just work with one, the one that seems the most easy to transition towards, the most easy for you to believe. Just know that the others So if you make this list, those other beliefs that you hold, they'll just be simmering in your subconscious, waiting for the time when you're ready to move towards that belief. So if you write them down, you'll put them in here and they'll just simmer in there until you're ready. And believe me, you will be ready, especially if it is a belief that is that higher vibrational belief. So how do we work with these beliefs? What do we do next? So you can work with these beliefs like we do with affirmations. You can speak it out loud. You can write it down, journal about it. You can do breath work on it. You can meditate on it. You can talk to people about it. You can do past life regressions on it or other modalities that work like inner child work or trauma release work. There are a million ways to do this work to change your beliefs. But wanting it is choosing to believe it every day until you do. So you want to keep thinking about it every day. You want to keep imagining yourself as that person who believes that thing. Remember, how would your life change if you were this person? If you had an abundance of time or money or anything else you want to believe? How would that version of you walk and talk and act? How much love and gratitude would that person feel in their heart if they believed that thing, as opposed to the fear? I bet that person is quite different to the one I'm talking to now. She would definitely be up higher on that consciousness scale. All right, so let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here for this whole video. I hope you have really gotten a lot out of it. Go forth, change your beliefs, starting today, starting right now. Just start with one and see what you can accomplish. Now, given that many of these teachings were inspired by the work I've done with Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'd like to quote him before I finish up today. He said, if you don't trust that changing your thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, and actions will produce a change, then nothing in your life will actually change. If you don't trust that changing your thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, and actions will produce a change, then nothing in your life will actually change. So what's it going to be? Keep living by those old beliefs, the ones that keep you stuck and unhappy and in a state of fear, or identify the ones you want to change and start working towards believing something different. The choice, as always, is yours. And remember, it is my absolute passion to talk about this stuff. So come and work with me one-on-one and we'll work out what beliefs you currently are holding on to, what you want to change, and we'll work towards making that happen. Of course, as always, combined with the power of the breath, we'll see some epic shifts if you do. Thank you again. Much love. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.